Like the Leafs look good in the second period, but you could kind of see it sort of unravel. Montreal plays pretty boring hockey in the third, and they just don't seem to be able to get anything through. And they feel their passes aren't crisp. They're not skating that well. The entry zones, like entering the offensive zone on the power play becomes almost impossible. Like there was some really bad. And then of course you double that up with how many over the glass penalties were there? It was Hall, Marner, and Nylander.
3. It's unacceptable. And 3 over the glass penalties. Spezza took 2 penalties. And I said in my LFR today, I'm like, were you holding a machete? You got 2 penalties in a Stanley Cup playoff game. You know how hard that is?
Yeah.
Simmons wasn't much of a factor. Thornton with 2 offensive zone turnovers. The grumpy old men line was awful. Individually, I know they were kind of chopped up and divvied up over the roster because Sheldon Keefe had to do some juggling with Tavares out of the lineup. But what a terribly ineffective game from 3 of your most experienced guys. I think Spezza got the assist on the Nylander goal. So, a mark to him after 2 demerits. It wasn't good enough. But am I weird in saying after watching that loss, they lost, that they're going to win this series? I watched that. I watched the Leafs at their worst.
Yeah, I'm all ears.
I watched them at their worst. I'm not
feeling good about it.
I watched them at their worst, and I watched them hand that game to the Montreal Canadiens. Guys, we could watch hockey the rest of our lives. I don't think we'll see 3 over the glass penalties in a playoff game again. Mm-hmm. Watch, they're going to do it in game 2. But
clip this, please.
I know, please do. But we're not going to see that again. Jack Campbell looked great. Matthews, we know he can do better than that. Price made a couple spectacular saves.
That Marner blocker save was unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Jack Campbell even had at the very beginning of the game, he had a great pad save on a breakaway on Josh Anderson.
Anderson was an animal.
Anderson was the best player on either team on the ice the entire night.
Easily. He was the best player. But I watched that and I went, you know what? They're going to be all right. Considering they penalty wise, they did things they would never do. Mm-hmm. And they were down a man, and that man happened to be John Tavares.
Yeah.
They can absolutely come back game 2 with whatever combination of players they're going to come out with and win.
And they are a very, very good 5-on-5 team. But we do need to talk about this power play. I'm not seeing, and this is the problem I had with Babs as well. With Manny Malhotra, I'm not seeing any adjustments. Am I wrong? Have they changed much?
Sandin got kicked off for Riley. That was the one late change they made. Which
I thought was odd. Is why is Sandin running PP1 when Riley's been running it all year? Maybe you're trying to change that, I guess. Maybe that's your change.
I like Sandin there because the first 2 power plays I thought were actually very effective. Mm-hmm. They weren't able to convert. The second power play, I think they had 3 legitimate scoring chances. Sandin loses the foot race to Paul Byron.
Yeah.
But again, it was an offensive turnover from Thornton again.
Yeah.
Again.
Thornton had a bad game.
He had a bad game.
I don't know why he's out there on the power play.
What I wanted to see, and I think Jesse's probably going to say the same thing I am. I want meat in the blue paint. I want Thornton there. I want Foligno there. I want Simmons there. I want Hyman there. Nylander's not quite in the paint. He's just sneakily hiding outside of the paint, and then he bangs it in. They got to get meat in front of this guy, because if he can't see it, then he's just some other goalie. If he can see it, he's Carey Price.
Yeah, the Marner one-timer from the circle closest to us at the end when it was just a clear shot onto Carey Price, and they just caught it, and then they had another face-off. That felt to me like I was like, oh, that's how the entire game's been going. Just these clear shots, just right at the body, and Carey Price has just been stopping them. And then when he needs to make this big save, he makes the big save. And that was just kind of how the power play went the entire game.
Man. It's a disappointing finish, but the way I saw people reacting, you'd think they were terrible. That's as bad a game as we've seen them play all season, and they still lost by 1.
Yeah,
they're going to win the series. They're going to win the series.
For the Matthews line were 80% when they were on the ice. They outshot 13-3 when they were on the ice as well. And then the second line, they had their expected goals up as well on the second line versus Canadiens. So
how about the penalty kill?
Penalty kill, I don't have any advanced stats for that.
No. Like, I'm just saying, how about it?
Like, it was unbelievable.
It's real good. It was real good. I mean, practice makes perfect. For God's
and Paul
sake.
Byron, he scored a goal that you score in NHL when you go to the knees and you can still stick handle the puck after you get tripped. That's literally the goal he scored. It's unbelievable.
It's better than the video games, because in the video games you get stuck on both knees in the animation. I don't remember who pointed it out on Twitter. He switched knees from his knees. He was balancing on one and went to the other. And like Campbell had a fantastic game, and it was 2 partial breaks that beat him, including that. And by the way, like the criticism of the newspapers who use the photos like on the front page and everything. That picture of Paul Byron on his knees from the corner camera, that should win awards.
That's a great picture. It's too bad they didn't go with that.
Every Habs fan should be ordering a blow-up print of that picture right now.
Should be behind Eric Engels in his kitchen when he comes on the podcast next.
You're absolutely right. Get his wife to paint that one.
Yeah.
That's hell of a photo, hell of a goal.
So I believe
I don't know
that
what Campbell's supposed to do.
Mark Blinch. He's the team photographer for the Maple Leafs. I believe he took that photo. He's unbelievable. I love his work.
No,
really,
he does take great shots.